Now, so we've noticed in the last decade or so many startups which are rapidly growing to become huge unicorns and even bigger companies than that. So, with this in mind, what would you say are the key different traits or the key differences in leadership that are required at a growing startup and at an established corporate? So, what are the differences or nuances in leadership that are really required to succeed in both these roles?
Okay, so this is a very interesting question, and you talked about leadership in a already established big organization versus leadership for a startup. Leadership as a startup. So, as a leadership, when you are a leader in a startup, you have to be you have to be making the right decisions and always be ready to make decisions. So that we already discussed. So that's important because in what happens in a big organization, it is also possible that the decision is made on a consensus basis. Multiple stakeholders are involved to come to a conclusion or make a decision. But in a startup, you are the one who is making the decision. So you have to be ready to make decisions. That's one. The second important aspect is being agile. There, things are changing every single day for you. Okay. Any decision that you make, it is either going to add revenue or take away money from your company, or it is going to add cost to your organization, or it can bring you above the competition, or you can go behind the competition, or you deal with a particular product and services which is no more relevant. So anything that you do in a startup, it can backfire, or it can help you to move forward much more rapidly. So agility is very, very important. So we should be ready to accept the current situation, current facts, and completely transform the way we do things and be very agile and pivot, ready to pivot. So agility is very, very important when you are running as a startup owner, or when you are a leader in a startup. This is extremely important because you do not have time to even uh, figure out, or wait for, you know absorbing the fact. Let's say this COVID time which has come, there are so many startups which they do not have time at all to figure out what to do next. What's important is to be agile. So I know of a startup who were doing organic cotton t-shirts before COVID. After COVID, what happened? During that time, they immediately changed that to supplying masks, organic cotton masks, face mask, right? So that is how people become agile. I'm talking about another startups who were into, self checkout. They were designing the self checkout hardware and software, the entire system, and that was more relevant before the COVID times. But during this time, now that's not relevant anymore, or that may become relevant after 2 years. So they started creating apps which can deliver essential services, right? So this is about being very, very agile. How can we quickly think about what next I can do? And the startups who is not able to accept the fact that something is already happened, and you spend long time to make a decision, or make a change or pivot in your startup, you are going to vanish, right? The startup is going to go down. So agility is very, very important. The next important aspect of a leader for a startup is to be very resilient, and you know uh, or rather, never to have a don't give up attitude, always ready to bounce back. And that only comes when you have a very strong belief system in you. So building a strong belief system, because you're not surrounded by so many people who can protect you in a startup. Okay, you make one decision, you make a choice, you get exposed in a startup. But in a big organization, it takes time. Maybe it will take whatever decision you made today. Probably, if that has gone wrong, you will get exposed after maybe 2 months or 3 months. It takes time. But in a startup, anything that you do, you quickly get exposed. So, which essentially means that you should be ready to have that belief system in you of whatever decision that you are making, ready to bounce back, because startup is a very, very different journey. Here, your belief system is going to be tested multiple times, multiple times. It is going to get tested. Okay, you are almost getting a good customer in your organization, and that customer says no. Okay, and you are probably dependent on that particular customer completely thinking that if this customer comes up, my startup is going to take off. And that does not happen. You should be ready to bounce back immediately. Make a list of who are the equally competent or their competitor or the customers that I want to approach, and start approaching them. And before doing that, we should be ready to accept that this customer has said no to me. So ready to bounce back, ready to be very, very resilient, and always seek for help. That's important. What happens most of the times, we want to be our own heroes. No, I can do everything on my own, because and later I want to say that I made it happen. That does not work in, because a big organization, a good organization, is built with the help of teams, multiple teams coming together, and we are building something together. Only then you can make something really big. Alone you can do only so much, but as a team you can do much more than what you can even imagine. So it's no more I made it happen. We have to make it happen together. Okay, so which means we have to start involving. Your team size is small, you have to start involving all your employees, your leaders, and start taking inputs from them. Make them part of your organization. They should feel that it's their company, and you have to guide them, drive them, and say that let's do this. Let's figure out what is the next steps. This is not working. What do we do next? Now, people who take longer time to accept and change this to become more relevant, okay, they face a lot of difficulties. But somebody who is very quick enough, very agile to take it forward, to pivot, they are the ones who actually make it. Okay, so that is very important. uh, High belief system. Be ready to change, be ready to change every single day. Every single day you have to change. Every single day you have to question yourself. Every single day you will get an opportunity where you have an opportunity to rebuild your belief system and move forward. Most important is moving forward every single day, taking the right actions every single day is very important for you.